Hello, I am live. I'm live. I'm alive. I'm live. How we doing? Good afternoon. It is 12 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top, cruising the streets. Hold on 1 second, y'all. All right. So I just have it here to where I can see. Oh, I can see the comments there too if they pop up. Good afternoon. I said good afternoon. No, I'm just playing. I wanted to tell this story because I thought that it was pretty funny. We've all had experiences with clients as general notary. Oftentimes we go inside uh, customers' homes, to sign their documents as a part of the mobile notary side of things. And I know, like you guys know, for those of us who've dealt with clients, we've gone to some homes that we know that was memorable. You know what I'm saying? That was like, okay, yeah, I need to get out of here with the quickness. Had many of those in notaries. I've actually had to sign documents outside once, because the lady was like, I'm not bringing you in. I don't want to bring you in simply because my house is not the best. Understandably so. And I would much rather you have that concern from me because I'm not very good with smells. You know what I'm saying? If it's a bad smell, then I'm going to upchuck and try my best not to. And that's exaggerating. I mean, if it's a smell, I am not going to be able to cover. I'm just very sensitive to certain to smells, per se. So we've all had those experiences. I myself have had many. Recently, I had a lady that did not want to clear her table, and I had to do her signing on the dinner trays. To do it. It was so awkward because I had to kind of change out because I couldn't be on it at the same time. She can. It was just a mess. So this story may or may not be true. No, it's a true story. This story. Uh, I'm going to talk to you guys about just my process whenever I onboard customers and how I typically will, you know, go about that process. So most of my clients are from, they contact me via, cell phone, or through the apps, Wedding Wire, all of those, to where there's no, face to face. I don't have a storefront. I don't have anything like that. So there's not a face to face. Some instances, some people are okay with doing, what do you call it? Video calls, but it's been rare. I might get a video call, but it only be audio only on their side. And for me, I typically have planned for it, so I don't care, right? So this couple reaches out to me a couple months ago, and you know, I talked to it was two parties involved. One party was one young lady that was setting it up for the couple. Okay, so she reached out to me. That was like my last dealing that I did on Thumbtack, and I talked with her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, well, I my friends they're interested in your service. I'll make sure they reach out to you." So I was like, "All right, cool." And then she went ghost for like 4 weeks. So I'm like, "All right, well." Maybe she was just really busy, or maybe, could just be one of the looky loos where they're just looking to see and, make a decision on if they're going to go or not. Um, and she pops back up and she's like, "Hey, um, I just wanted to let you know that I didn't forget about you. Um, they do want to move forward, and I'm going to give them your number to reach out to them." And I was like, "All right, cool." They reach out to me. The couple reaches out to me, or the husband uh, reaches out to me via text, And I was like, all right, cool. When can we set up an appointment? To talk. He goes for about a week. And then eventually we get an opportunity via text to set, down a time for us to speak face to face or, over the phone. So, we do. He tells me a little bit about about him, his spouse, what they really want to do, what, where they're going to get married at. And we go over the price in which, it would have been. So I told him what the price was. He was more than happy. He obliged, and was like, okay, send me the invoice. So I do. I get the information, his first and last name, his spouse's first name. I don't get the last name of the spouse. Um, and I think in the conversation I may have asked is, are we doing Mr. or Mrs. whatever? And it was a yes. So I just knew her first name. So what I do normally, and this is honestly and truly with I would say 95% of my couples, if I didn't get a face to face, I'm gonna go search him on social media. So I went and I searched his name, and a social media page popped up. So I knew kind of what the guy looked like, but it was, it was old information. It was stuff not recent, on there. So I couldn't really take that. I could probably go a step further and Google it, but I didn't need to, um, a lot of people don't have online presence, especially if they're older. I knew it was an older couple. So, you know, I kind of go radio silence until about the week before the wedding, because there's really not a whole lot unless I'm helping them with marriage licenses. And if I am, then it's a reminder like, okay, marriage license needs to be gotten this day. This is the last day, or within this time frame. But if they've already gotten it or they're set on that end, then there's not another conversation. So the week of, it's just like, oh, how we doing? We're getting excited. I confirm everything. We're still doing this. We're still doing that. Anything else for me? I'm going to be there about what this time. This is what I'm going to wear. In some instances, if the bride and groom want you to kind of coordinate with the wedding, they may ask you, what are you wearing, or can you wear this? Can you wear that? As long as it's not like ostentatious, like nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna go and go get a Harry Potter, like I'm not doing that. Okay. So I get to the place of so we're confirmed, and we're ready to go. So I get to the place. I normally get there 45 minutes prior, sometimes an hour, depending on, how big of a show it is, and just kind of for my comfort. Because I go and I do another reconnaissance of the building. Like, okay, where's my mic? Where am I going to be standing? What do I need to do? What are some extra stuff that I need to figure out? Confirm the information with whoever if I can again. So I drive, there. I get there, and as soon as I get out, I see a yellow Confederate flag on a shirt, black shirt. Also, in the back part of the parking lot, you see motorcycles. So I kind of assumed that they were a motorcycle group. Now, the Confederate flag concerns me. It's controversial in a way where, some people feel some type of way about it. And I'm one of those people. Like, I don't, I'm not gonna run and tell you to take it down, but also I know what that flag represents, at least for me, being from the South. So I get instantly nervous and concerned, and I'm telling myself, hey, you should have done more research. Why didn't you do more research? This is crazy, blah, blah, blah. I'm starting to get a little concerned, even more concerned than what I was before. I always have a little bit of nerves, but now I'm like really nervous. So I go walk in, get into the building. I see more of these men with the Confederate flag, yellow, and a black shirt. So I'm like, whoo, oh, wow, great. Ugh. And the type of place, it's a memorial building, that, outline that kind of stuff. Like, that's what they do. So I'm even more nervous, and I'm at this point I'm concerned about my safety. I have to be honest. I'm concerned about my safety because I feel like I'm in a place I don't know anybody. I had to go by myself. My niece was, sick that day, and I was just like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna. My thought process was they are going to sacrifice me because I'm the only one of me here. So I was just kind of thinking in my head, like, oh my God, I should have done more research, blah, blah, blah. But this is just internally. I didn't say that. I didn't verbalize it, any of that. So I find the woman that hired me. I find the couple, and they are really nice. So that's what I'm going on. I'm going on that. I, had never experienced anything like that before. And, it was confirmed that they were bikers. So, okay, to be expected. All right. So I go around, looking around at some of the things, the artifacts that they had is interesting. They had some pictures of the owners that were extremely ghastly looking, like, oh my God, like they look like ghosts, those pictures. And then in the front room, there was a little box that appeared to me that looked like a coffin. So I was thinking, at first when I looked at it and I kind of saw I thought it might have been a funeral home, and that just kind of threw it over the edge. I didn't get a chance to take a picture of the uh, the casket or coffin. Okay, so I get there about an hour before, as I said. I am in a place where I am just waiting, kind of twiddling my thumbs. I hear somebody talking with the groom say something about, religion or something along those lines, which gave me pause. I'm like, shit, did I confirm if they wanted mention of God? Goodness forbid if I'm up there and, they, goodness forbid that I'm up there and they are like, oh, we didn't ask for that. So I felt like I needed to confirm because last thing I want is that to be a bad experience. And I asked again. I said, I just want to confirm. And they go, well, we're not heathens. We believe in God. We're spiritual. So I said, oh, no. I was just confirming. I just like to do that prior to make sure all my ducks in a row. Just try to play it off or whatever. I wasn't trying to imply that they didn't believe in God. I just wanted to make sure. And it was an awkward time, but I couldn't remember had I confirmed it before, and I didn't send them a copy of the script. So that was kind of on me. So they confirmed that it was cool. And I go up to the altar and I see two pictures, one on the left side, one on the right side of each other. Normally, when that happens, it's a memorial, a moratorium. They want to remember these people. So two men, and I'm like, hey, um, I see a young lady in the crowd. I was like, hey, do you happen to know who these guys are? And she goes, yeah. I said, okay. I explained to her what I want to do. I want to recognize them. Do I think that they would be okay with recognizing them? She's like, yeah, I'll find out and I'll come back. She came back. She was like, I don't know who's who, but one of them's name is Richard and the other one's name is Fuck You Fred. And I'm like, oh, hmm. they hmm. You think they want me to say that or not? And religious, my wedding script will have mention of God in there, so I don't want to do anything disrespectful. And I get a chance to talk to the wife, the woman that eventually became the wife, and she was like, "Oh my God, that's great. Yeah, they don't really know his real name, so that would be the only thing you can call him." So I get the confirmation. I was like, "All right, okay, I'm gonna say it exactly how it was." And we start the wedding. I see another sister. I'm so excited. I was like, "Oh, thank you so much, sister. I'm so glad you're here." And she was like, "Oh, after a while, she kind of looked around. I was like, "Oh, I got it. I understand. No, you good, fine." I was like, "All right, cool." And she's like, "No, you good, you good." And we joked about it. We laughed and went on our own way. had the ceremony. I had to be extra silly this time, which was refreshing. And then I get to the part where I had to, also looking down on us, we have, fuck you, Bob, and, whatever other name, Tommy or whatever, and so and so. So I'm like, all right, once I say it, people are like, they're laughing like crazy, like got up standing, like thought that was funny. And I do a little thing with the mic, like, like kind of like that. And, the husband was dying laughing. He just thought that it was the most hilarious thing. And his wife, too. And, we went further. My very next line was something, to the effect of, God, loves, the union, or something along those lines, where I had to, like, the Lord was the next thing I had to say. So I get done with the wedding, or get done with the ceremony part of the wedding, and they just kind of stand up front like this. They didn't move. They didn't have outro music. I'm not quite sure what happened with that whole ordeal, but they just kind of stood up there, and then people, went to take pictures, and then they was like, oh, well, we should probably walk. And I, they didn't have any music, so I had to go, dun, 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 like the outro marriage music, and they ended up walking out. And at the end of that, I had so many people that came to me. It was like, oh my God, that was great. That was awesome. You were awesome. That was hilarious. I'm so glad you did that. Thank you so much. Um, and it turned out to be one of my most fun weddings I had done in a long, long time. Now, all weddings can be fun. You know what I'm saying? All weddings can be a hoot, depending on uh, how you set it off. And honestly, as wedding officiants, we have everything to do with how the wedding is received. You know what I'm saying? If we hype it up, we're like, oh, y'all ready to see a wedding? I get that from Mark Garofalo, whatever his name is. I mentioned that because it really does set the tone for how the marriage or the wedding is going to go. It can be boring and stuffy and quiet, but if you kind of add a little flair to it, and it's a little bit of an art, but they were more than happy, more than impressed. They loved it, absolutely loved it, and I had fun. I had a fantastic time, and I'm looking forward. Oh, they end up leaving me a review, so that was awesome too. Um, but yeah, some of the things that you have to do. I don't take myself too serious, and I know, I'm not a super religious person, but I do believe in God. I'm more spiritual than anything, and I'm confident in my relationship with the Lord. And sometimes I say curse words. Sometimes, I might say things that not everybody agree with, or whatever the case may be. But I don't take myself too serious to the point where I can't be seen in like crazy situations, like that. Because most of them are like, oh no, I can't say that name and won't be able to do it. And it's like, why? You know what I'm saying? It's the way we talk. It's real. Um, but yeah, they were a sweet couple, and I wish them nothing but success. I wish them nothing but love, and I really, I it's up in my top maybe 10 weddings. That wedding was number 57 for me, number 57, um, or maybe no, number 56. It was number 56 for me. Um, so there's that. That was it. That was pretty much it. I had fun times, and I wanted to tell you guys that story. Now, mind you, this stuff stays in between us. I'm not making fun of anybody. This was just my experience and what I went through, and how if it felt like I was walking into a horror story. Like I was literally thinking, like, I'm gonna die today. Today I will meet death. You know, um, because I don't know, I a person with the Confederate flag is not somebody I could see myself even aligning with in any way, shape, or form. It's just not for me. Um, but yeah, that was that. I hope you enjoyed the story, because that's all I got. I do want to remind you guys that on Saturday we are doing the brunch at Brick and Spoon. Okay. So if you want to go, it is no cost. It's basically whatever you purchase. Okay. So come out and get some food, hang out, have fun. I'm going to be talking about Ron. They're going to be talking about our apostilles and a couple other things. So just come and get to know the other people. Tyrone and Don are really good people, very sweet, and I think they would be cool notaries or cool people in this business to really grow from. So again, it's Brick and Spoon in Maitland, 9/23, 2023, and it's at 10 a.m. I can't find it. Anyway, I was trying to do something cool, but I can't. But yeah, that's it. So 10 o'clock, Brick and Spoon in Maitland. Go ahead and Google it. And I'm pretty sure you guys will have fun. I know I will. But it was my most interesting wedding experience. Turned out great. And, they definitely said that they're going to send me some more customers. All right, guys, that is all I got. I hope that you have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for listening. And I will catch you guys on the flip side.